Lonnie the theater lady on Burgh, Vivant.
Here I am.
What's going on?
Oh, I saw a really wonderful play the other night at the Off the Wall Theater in
Oh.
Carnegie. The Small Room at the Top of the Stairs. Written by a Canadian playwright, one of the most prominent women playwrights in Canada, Carol Frechette. And I probably said it wrong because it's French, but...
And in some areas of Canada have their own French altogether.
Yes, and
So,
she is French-Canadian
knows?
from Montreal, Quebec.
Very
So,
good.
anyway, it was one of the most intriguing, suspenseful, almost Alfred Hitchcock-like type plays, and directed by Ingrid Sonnigsen, who recently retired from Carnegie Mellon, where she's been teaching, and she's been acting for over 35 years or something like that. She's a very accomplished actress and director, and she took this play, which is kind of a takeoff on Bluebeard, and I don't think that's a spoiler because it really doesn't follow Bluebeard. It's just the idea. Some of the ideas were similar. But Dana Michelle Griffith was the lead. She played Grace, and she was a lovely young bride who married a very, very wealthy man, Henry, played by Ken Bolden. And he was older than she, and he wanted to give her the world. And his role and the way he played it, he was so charming and so upper crust, but warm and loving. And Dana, of course, as the lead, never left the stage. 90 minutes, no intermission. Which I thought, when I sat down, that's going to be a long time. And when it ended, it felt really, truly like it had been about 45 minutes, like the length of a regular first act. Dana has this wonderful stage charisma, as you know, you've seen her perform. And this performance was so memorable that I'm ranking it up there as one of the performances I will never, ever forget.
Wow. Now that is saying a lot, coming from Lonnie the theater lady.
Truly. I thought it was every bit as memorable as Helena Ruwadi in Masterclass. In that role, I saw her maybe 15 years ago. And it has stuck with me, and this will. Dana starts out as just this sweet, innocent, giddy newlywed, and her husband has a huge mansion, 28 rooms, and he asks only
What's he do
one
for a
thing of
living?
her. Investment banking, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
And he has one request of her. Do not go into the small room
At the top of the stairs.
So right away, that kind of pulls you in, like, what's going on up there?
I would ask questions. You know I'd be peeking in that thing as soon as he went to work.
Well, she was forbidden, so of course, if you're forbidden as human nature, if you're forbidden from doing anything, what's the first thing you want to do?
Temptation sinks in. You want to do it. I understand.
Yes. And I won't say if she went in or if she didn't,
or what
she
was in the
found
room,
or what she didn't. I will say that there are some surprises, and that the suspense and intrigue in the very beginning had my heart pounding so hard. And this was Dana on the stage alone.
Jeez.
Creating this really anxious scenario where I had to put my hand on my chest to see if my heart was actually moving my shirt.
Wow.
Because that really suspenseful.
Wow.
And
do we find out what's in the room at the top of the stairs?
maybe.
Oh, this is killing me. I might get.
It's kind of it's metaphorical.
Is it bigger than a bread box?
I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay. Is it a person? Is it a dead person? Is it an animal?
It's really all and none.
I have to go see it.
Yes,
I
you
have
do.
to go see
You
it.
do.
Okay.
And
all
the
right.
supporting cast was just wonderful too. Jenny was the maid, and it was a part where she just intermittently came out.
Jenny
on
was the
stage.
name of the maid.
The name of the maid.
Played by.
It's Amy Landis, of
Amy
course.
Landis,
You
yes.
said you knew her.
Amy Landis played the maid. Yes.
And we were always just a little bit suspicious of her motives. And she provided, in each of her appearances, very welcome comedic relief. This play left you with a lot of questions. When you this is a play you would want to see with somebody if you could, not alone. But if you see it alone, you'll still enjoy it. But you want to talk about it afterwards. There's so many, you know, were these things that happened in real time? Were these things happening in her Grace's subconscious? Were they woo, there goes that martini. Were they memories of something, or it wasn't like it was confusing to follow. You could follow it easily, but you just had questions about when were these things actually happening. And the other characters in it were Grace's mom, who was played by Sharon Brady, who currently teaches at Point Park and is a wonderful actress and just was such a loving mom, and so wonderful as a concerned and wonderful mom. And then there was a New York actress who played her sister Anne, and her name was Amanda Brooke Lerner. She played the sister who was jealous, but at the same time still loved her sister. And what was interesting, though, Dana was on the stage the entire time, the lead character, and the others, her husband actually left the stage at times, as did Jenny, but her mother and her sister were on the side, but not lighted until they were doing their parts. But
sounds like quite a cast of characters.
Oh, a wonderful cast, and the characters themselves were wonderful, and the intrigue and suspense, perfect for Halloween this time of year.
Yeah.
And it's running through November 1st, so it would even be fun to see on Halloween night, because it's a little eerie and spooky. And
The Room at the Top of the Stairs.
but I highly recommend it. I really, truly highly recommend it. It's different, but to see the performances, and Dana especially being on that stage, this was opening night, and her performance was flawless. It was up for interpretation, which is why it would be so much fun to talk to somebody about it afterwards, to see
like
what they thought.
Like
and
a counselor or a therapist.
No. Somebody else that you saw the play with for their interpretation.
Well, that's cheaper, for one. I have told people not to go into the room at the top of my stairs, but that's usually like on laundry day when there's clothes everywhere.
Oh.
Did you scream at any point?
I did not scream.
Did you
Nor
gasp
did anybody.
audibly?
I didn't gasp audibly, but I was gasping inside.
Did you lose control of your bowels?
No. But I was gripping the arms of my seat. I don't think that counts.
That is
though.
not at all what I asked. Now, what gives you a sense of suspense outside of the theater? What do you get nervous about?
You mean other than taping these reviews?
She's a maniac, maniac.